Hi, guys. Well, I don't know if you had a chance to do our science experiment yesterday, but it was super cool. So today we're going to read a story called Ada Twist Scientist. Are you ready? Here we go. Ada Twist Scientist. Ada Marie said not a word till the day she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, absorbing the world but not making a sound. She learned how to climb and made her big break with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day, chasing each sound and sight, and didn't slow down till she gave out at night. Do you see her? She's right there. There she is. And look, she escaped her crib. Her parents were frazzled, but they tried not to freak as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly, young Ada, with lots in her head, would have something meaningful to say when it ought to be said. Oh, look, there's Ada investigating the world around her. There are her parents. That's just what happened when Ada turned 3. She tore through the house on a fact-finding spree and climbed up to the clock just as high as she could. Her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would. Ada's chin quivered, but she did not cry. She took a deep breath and simply said, "Why?" Oh, do you see her? Do you see her on top of the clock? Why shouldn't we climb a clock? Not safe. Why does it tick and why does it talk? Why do we don't call it a granddaughter clock? Why are there pointy things that stick to a rose? Why are there hairs up the inside of your nose? She started with why and then what and how and when. By bedtime, she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her dazed parents smile at the curious thoughts of their curious child who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out." Oh, look, there's the roses. And she's talking about why the clocks go tick-tock. Hairs up your noses. So silly. Her parents kept up with their high-flying kid, whose questions and chaos both grew as she did. What does it do? Why won't it? What does it do? How? How does it? Will it be the same? What if? Why? Will it? When? What? Oh my goodness, look at all those questions. Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when young Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a good scientist. Look, I think they did an exploding color experiment just like we did. Ada was busy that first day of spring testing the sounds that the mockingbirds sing when a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled up her toes. "Zowie!" said Ada, which got her to think. What is the source of that terrible stink? How does the nose know there's something to smell? And why does it still stink if there's no nose to tell? She rattled off questions and tapped on her chin. She started at the start where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. This was the moment that Ada loved best. I wonder what it was she was smelling. Ada did research to learn all she could of smelling and smells, both stinky and good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true. The terrible stink came from Dad's cabbage stew. She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis 2. So a hypothesis is a prediction that a scientist makes. So she predicted that the smell was coming from Dad's cabbage soup, but then she discovered maybe it wasn't. So now she's on to hypothesis 2. Then zowie, the stink struck again, just like that. Hypothesis 2, it's caused by the cat. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. It needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested, and the test was a flop. She started again. But her parents said, "Stop! Oh no, she's putting the cat in the washing machine." Can you do that? No, not safe for the kitty cat. Ada Marie, to the thinking chair now by the time we say 3. Enough, said her mother. That's it, said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. Why? Ada questioned. Her mother said, no. What? Ada queried. Her father said, go. You've ruined our supper. You made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Sit there and think. She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do. She sat all alone by herself in the hall, and Ada once more could say nothing at all. Look, she's sitting all by herself. So Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat, and she thought about science and Stu and the cat and how her experiments had made such a mess. Does it have to be so? Was it part of the success? Are messes a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question, and then she asked 2, and each one of those led her to 3 questions more, and some of those questions resulted in 4. As Ada got thinking, she really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. She started at why and what and how and when, and at the end of the hall she reached why once again. Oh, look, see, she's writing about all her theories and her hypotheses and trying to figure out why it was so stinky. Her parents calmed down. They came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and just had to gawk. No patch of bare paint could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair, too, was the great thinking hall. They watched their young daughter and sighed as they did. What would they do with this curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, we'll figure it out. Look at that. Look at all of her questions. And that's what they did, because that's what you do when your kid has a passion and your heart is true. They remade their world, and now they're in on the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asks lots of questions. How could she resist? It's the heart of a young scientist. Look, they're helping her try to figure it all out. Look at that. And as for the smell, what could Ada Twist do but learn all she can with her friends in grade 2? Will they discover that the stink curls the toes? Well, that is a question, and someday, who knows? The end. I hope you enjoyed Ada Twist's Scientist, and you can think like a scientist too and question things. But try to do the messy stuff outside. Bye, guys.